Okay, let's dive deep today. We're looking at a really high-stakes corporate shakeup. Starbucks announcing this $1 billion strategic contraction back in September 2025.
Yeah, it's a massive number. And it's not just, trimming around the edges.
No, exactly. We're talking hundreds of store closures. Analysts think maybe 400, 500 in North America, plus 900 corporate jobs gone.
Right. Non-retail, back office roles mostly.
So our mission for you, listening in, is pretty clear. Is this just like a panic move, a super expensive sign of failure?
Or is it something more? A calculated pivot, maybe even necessary.
Let's unpack what forced their hand here. What was the crisis?
Well, the financial pressure was, frankly, intense. Starbucks had seen same-store sales in the U.S. drop for 6 quarters straight.
6 quarters. Wow.
Yeah, 6. That's a really worrying trend. It signals something fundamental is eroding in their core business.
And the numbers right before this big announcement, they're pretty stark, weren't they? Q4 2024.
Oh, yeah. North American comparable transactions, basically foot traffic plunged, a full 10% drop.
10%. That's huge. Now, I know the average check, the ticket price, was actually up 4%.
It was. They did manage to push through price increases.
But clearly, that wasn't nearly enough, right?
Yeah.
Not enough to make up for so many customers just staying away.
Exactly. It tells you the value proposition wasn't holding up. People weren't willing to pay more if the convenience or the experience wasn't there for them.
So that failure, that's driving these closures under this back to Starbucks plan?
That's the immediate priority, yes. But it's also meant to fuel their bigger, sort of grander strategy.
The triple shot reinvention.
Right. They still have these huge goals, like 55,000 stores worldwide by 2030, and doubling rewards members to 150 million. It sounds a bit strange, closing stores while aiming for massive growth.
It really does. Which suggests these closures aren't just about saving on rent, are they? It feels more like a capital reallocation.
That's a good way to put it. That $1 billion charge, about $450 million of that, is specifically for getting out of leases early.
So they're spending almost $500 million just to, buy their way out of bad real estate deals.
Precisely. They're cleaning house, getting rid of the dead weight on the balance sheet.
Okay.
And then, crucially, they're taking the savings, the freed up cash, and putting it straight back into the stores that are left.
The renovation plan.
Yeah, they plan to renovate, or uplift as they call it, over 1,000 locations in the next year.
Trying to bring back that third place vibe. More seating, better atmosphere.
That seems to be the bet. A clear defensive move to reclaim that identity.
Oh, but yeah, the elephant in the room. The biggest risk here has to be labor, right? The conflict with Starbucks Workers United, the SWU.
Absolutely. It's a huge volatile factor.
Yeah.
The union is claiming these closures are basically illegal union busting.
They're pointing to specific examples, like that high-profile Reserve Roastery on Capitol Hill in Seattle. That one was unionized and got shut down.
Right. And that creates enormous risk, both legally and for the brand's image.
Starbucks denies it, of course.
They do. They strongly deny union status was a factor, saying it was all based on financial performance metrics applied uniformly.
But the perception, especially with younger consumers caring more about corporate ethics, that perception of retaliation could be really damaging, couldn't it?
Hugely damaging. And, the National Labor Relations Board has stepped in before in similar situations elsewhere. So it's a serious legal front they need to manage very carefully.
And all this contraction, this strategic shift, it's happening because they kind of got stuck, right? Squeezed in the market.
Yeah, caught in the middle. It's fascinating, actually.
How so?
Well, you got Dunkin' hitting them hard on value and, sheer convenience. Just grab-and-go coffee.
Dominating that functional coffee run.
Exactly. And then from the other side, you have players like Dutch Bros, really capturing that youth energy, the experience side of things.
And Dutch Bros saw a surge in visits recently, didn't they? Like Q2 2025.
They did. Their drive-through, high-energy model is really resonating. So Starbucks was losing ground on both fronts.
So the closures are essentially them making a choice, betting everything on that premium sit-down experience, rather than trying to be all things to all people.
It certainly looks that way. It's an attempt to clarify the brand, to pick a lane.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this huge gamble mean for you, the person who just wants their coffee?
Well, the success really boils down to 2 key things, I think.
One, can they actually win back that foot traffic to the remaining stores, the ones they're uplifting?
Right. Will the investment pay off in more customers? And 2, can they resolve this fundamental, very public fight with their workforce?
Which brings us to maybe the most interesting question.
Yeah.
The whole plan is called Back to Starbucks. It implies going back to core values, that idea of partner centricity they always talked about.
Mm.
So how does a company genuinely go back to Starbucks, back to valuing partners, when they've just laid off 900 corporate staff and, hundreds of baristas lost their jobs, often with very little warning?
That's the tension, isn't it? That potential disconnect between the marketing message and the reality on the ground. How they navigate that might just determine the long-term health of the entire brand. It's something for all of us to watch.